In this video, we're going to show you everything you need to know about using the Shure SM7B with the Gator Frameworks 3000 series boom arm. If you are looking for current pricing or specs, since that is the foundation of what a lot of people use to compare these types of things, we do have links down in the description below with the current up-to-date pricing, because these prices are always changing. So you can check the pricing and availability at a variety of online retailers. So if you don't find it in stock one place, you can easily find it in stock another if you are looking, if you use the links down in the description below. The quick review of this stand is that, in my opinion, this is the best looking, and it matches my expectation of a good mix between good looking and good functionality. It's not the fastest or most transparent boom arm to use out there, but it does solve a lot of the issues that a lot of its competition have. It has the best clamps that I like, it has good cable management, it has nice beefy knobs, good construction, and everything like that is really easy to use. Like other boom arms, you can't go inverted on the joints, you can only play inside on the angles of all of them. You can never like make a W, or you don't have that crazy flexibility that you have with some scissor style stands. But for 99% of people, I think that this is a really good mix. With a tube style stand like this, you get sponsorship opportunities or sticker placement or whatever you want to do that you don't get with other types of stands, and the cable management is much less distracting. So we're going to work through using this stand on a daily basis, all the little things that I've encountered and the things I really like and don't like. Now, first of all, if you are on camera, they've done a really good job of making everything as dark and matte black and anti-reflective as possible. A lot of other manufacturers would tend to put chrome components on it, and I find that really distracting when you have lights and you have cameras picking it up, or even if you're doing video conferencing or meetings and you have a window or something like that, chrome parts can be really distracting, and you can tell that they've gone through this and made it as camera friendly as possible. They've definitely thrown their branding here, but you can easily cover that up with gaff tape if you don't like it, or put a decal on for your own show, or if you're just doing video conferencing or home studio voiceover stuff, it probably doesn't matter to you and it won't affect you that much. Now, it does have an embedded XLR cable. We're going to start on the microphone here. I've found this to be totally fine. I don't get in a big huff or puff over different brands of XLR cables. I know some people are really concerned about brands and they want their super expensive XLR cable. I've never found a meaningful difference as long as the cable is, decently shielded and is not picking up, AM radio with the cable or anything like that. I've never had a problem with it. So if you are really concerned about cable quality, then you'll have to do your own research there. But for me, this is totally fine. Another downer on this stand, which it doesn't apply to the Shure SM7B, is that if you do want to switch out and run a USB mic for a session, you kind of just have to run the cable for the USB mic down the back and tape it, and then you have to hide the XLR cable. So that's a little bit weird. This is very purpose-built for XLR microphones like the Shure SM7B, which that's the microphone we're talking about in this video, so it does work really great for that. In terms of drift, lift, and shaking and maneuverability of this stand, it is prone to the shaking like that other tube-style mic stands are prone to have, just because of the geometry. These joints here don't get a lot of leverage over it, where if you have a scissor-based stand or something like that, issues like this don't really happen that much. But it is much better than the competition with things like drift and lift. What I mean by that is some of the competition, you can't tighten this middle knuckle enough. So if you make this angle smaller than 90 degrees, that's when it's most affected. When I've noticed it, it will do something like this. That's the tendency because of the spring. They had to make the spring so strong because it has a lack of leverage because of how good looking they wanted it to be. But the good news is with the Gator knobs here, it's the same knobs that are on the desk clamp, which we'll talk about later, but it is quite robust. So you really can get a really good hold on it. Everything feels solid. I crank them down pretty good. So that does allow you to get really low. I have a tendency to want my microphone to sit like this, and you can see that it floated there because I didn't tighten it. So that's one little knock against it, is if you're somebody that wants a really transparent stand something that you're not thinking about, this probably isn't the stand for you because you will be cranking and loosening stuff as you move it around. But sometimes I prefer to have my microphone like this. If I'm sitting at my desk, it's down low, I'm down low, my hands can be on the keyboard in front of me, I can see the screen, and this does tuck in nicely where I want it to be. A lot of tube style ones really struggle with this because you can't tighten that and then you will get lift. So the Frameworks solves that problem for you. In a perfect world, I prefer my boom arm to be down like this with this stem a little bit flatter, but this is as tight as you can go there. So just keep that in mind. It's workable for sure. It's just not quite what I prefer from my stands. Other than that, if you're a mid-height or if you're talking like I am, it's totally great. If you're one of those guys that likes it overhead pointing down, that works really great for it as well. So you do get really good maneuverability. A couple compromises there, like we discussed, compared to a scissor-based stand, but if looks and cable management are really important to you, then this is definitely the way to go. Other than that, one other issue with maneuverability here is as you turn it, you may run into the where the cable hits the tightening knob there. You can see there. I don't notice it 99% of the time. You can get a stem for this that goes between here. It's a 3-inch extension tube from Shure, and that will basically take this whole thing down and take it out of the way. We're gonna put that on right at the very end so you can see how it works. I don't think it's necessary. It's not where I would spend my money on this stand. You do have a really wide range of motion still. But that is something to consider if you are really just wanting to go all out, make one big purchase to consolidate shipping or something like that. Maybe throw this in for the extra 10 bucks just to make sure that you have it. Other than that, I think the geometry and everything else like that works really well and looks really well. In terms of desk clamps, these are my favorite desk clamps out of any boom arm that we have in the studio here, and we have quite a few. There's a couple reasons that I like these ones specifically. One, these clamps will close all the way. You can actually cinch them all the way up. So sometimes you're doing this in a precarious situation. I've had this idea a bunch of different times about putting like clamps like this on a side of a table or desk or something like that, and you just want to clamp it to. A lot of the competition will max out somewhere around there, like in 3/8 of an inch or something, and you can't actually tighten it to a clamp. But this thing will literally clamp to anything, and you can see here when I clamp to a small bracket like this, that it still has thread to spare. So I love that about it. Another thing about this clamping mechanism is that both sides have felt on them. So they're worried about protecting the bottom of the table stand as well. There's a little piece of foam or felt in there and there. So sometimes you are recording a podcast in a temporary environment. Maybe you're on a high gloss boardroom table or something like that. I've never been worried about using this clamp in an environment like that. It does hold up well. It doesn't scratch the surface or anything like that, and you can get it tighter. Another thing that I like about this clamp, there's a lot of talking about the clamp here, but you can mount it both ways. There's a hole in the top for the stem of the stand, and there's a hole in the side. Sometimes I'm working from a roll top desk of mine, and I can't use this vertically because of all the drawers and everything around it, but I can turn this sideways, tighten it up, and still get the stand in. So that's another bonus. I've never seen any other clamp from another brand that has that. So it's just another thing that Gator has thought through, and it's nice and flexible. It's not the best looking clamp, but I will say it's definitely the most functional one out of all the clamps we have here. It also comes with this desktop permanent mount. Again, it's not the most elegant solution, but I like that it has a tension screw and a wider tolerance in the base. This allows me to use this stand with any of the boom arms that we have here. That's a really, really big benefit. If you're using a flange mount like this, it's always built right to the tolerance of the stand, and some will fit, some won't, some will be loose, some you won't even be able to get in. They're basically paired to the stand that you buy them with, where this one is a lot more tolerant, a lot more flexible. So if you are the type of person that is always upgrading gear, this is another thing for going with Gator, because then you can keep the clamps and you know it'll work with all the stuff that you're using. Okay, so now I'm gonna put this Shure extension tube on, just so you can see how that works. Again, I don't think it's necessary, but it is worth mentioning since we're doing a big in-depth review, spending so much time just talking about one stand here. Okay, so here's what it looks like with that extension tube on. You can tell that it does change the look of the stand quite a bit, so it's not my favorite thing to have. But if you do really need those inside angles, you need to turn the microphone like that for some reason, now you can have that freedom to do so. I don't think this is super highly recommended for the stand, but I do want to point it out. And with this, you can still get nice and down low. You can get a mid height. You can be up where I am right now. And if you're one of those guys that likes to go super high and point it down, that works for you as well. It doesn't really affect the geometry or the float. If anything, it actually helps the float issue because there's more leverage down here now. So it is, even when it's fully loose back here, it does have a tendency to sit a little bit better, although it will shake a little bit more because of all the weight that's down here. So that's everything I have to say about the Gator Frameworks 3000 series with the Shure SM7B. If you do have any questions or comments, or if you have issues that you've had with this setup, please leave a comment down in the comment section below. I love reading all the comments. And if you want pricing or specs, again, we do have the links down in the description below. And if you want to see more videos like this in the future, please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.